There will come a time in all of our lives where we get tired of trying to push, force, or butt heads with certain people, certain relationships in our lives. There comes a point where loving someone doesn't cause anything more than harm and pain and friction, and makes us feel like we're holding ourselves back, like we're stuck in a certain position, that there's no other reality than the place that we're at. And that just turns us into this very frustrated, dull, bitter, sometimes even cynic person that doesn't truly live, laugh, love, enjoys life in the way that maybe we used to do. We tend to forget who we were when we were joyful, when we dared to be open and loving with people, what it was like to have fun and laugh all day. We might come at a point where it's time to leave some people behind because they are holding us back from whatever point we're supposed to go to next. This is what we're going to talk about in this video. It's not always what it seems like, and it's not always as black and white as it may sound, leaving people behind, but it's definitely a very important part of our own elevation, of choosing a reality that is making us happy and that allows us also to move forward towards the path that we want for ourselves, even though it can be very difficult to let go of the people we truly love. Let's talk about it. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lynn. I hope you're doing good today. If you've seen my last two videos, I'm still very much feeling the energy of change, and just there's such potent transformation in the air right now, and it comes with a lot of beautiful good things. It comes with a lot of realizations about our own potential, about the beauty that still lies in the future, about the good things that still lie ahead, about the endless possibilities and the perceived limitations that are now kind of fading away. But it also makes us realize the things that we were sometimes doing, or the choices we made, the actions we took, and the behavior we allowed in our life that perpetuated this situation or this reality where we were constantly feeling stuck, where things were not going in the way that we wanted to, or where we're feeling down all the time. And when we want to elevate to the next place in life, when we want to move into this new energy, choose higher and experience a new reality, we have to come face to face with the things that we no longer want to accept, with the things that are holding us back and that actually have a negative influence of our everyday experience of life. And a lot of the times that also involves certain relationships, certain people close to us, that whenever we show up or try to push it in some kind of way or hold on to this certain relationship, sometimes we try to control certain outcomes of our relationships with people, both professionally or family members, friendships, lovers, in a way that actually holds us back from reaching our own full potential. And like I just said, it really goes deeper than just letting go and like cutting people off or like completely blocking someone out of your life. It doesn't always have to be a physical or like really cutting someone off forever, or like turning on people or like telling people to fuck off. That's not necessarily what I mean with that, but it does start there a lot of the times. Sometimes it starts from a place of frustration where we just are so tired of people treating us a certain way, of people just not meeting us eye to eye. And when we feel like we're not being seen, we're not being heard, and our intention is not being recognized in certain relationships, that can be very frustrating. And at some point, if we constantly are pushing so much energy into trying to make something work that is clearly not working, into seeing something evolve in something that maybe it just is not supposed to evolve into, it is actually taking away so much of our energy that we might be needing for ourselves right now. It's really taking away from the energy, the love, the time, the intention that you could put into creating your desired future, that you could put into the things that are pouring back into you and that are helping you to feel better on a regular basis. And I find this very difficult because a lot of the times we love people very deeply. I feel like if we are hurt, if we are frustrated, if we want to see something work, and if we are forcing something almost to get it done, usually it means that we have love for it. it means that there are some kind of feelings. It probably means that we have the best intention for the certain situation, for these certain people, for this certain work environment, whatever it may be. It can be different for everyone. You must see for yourself how you can apply this to your situation. But if we want things to work out, and if we want to be seen, if we want to be heard, if things are hitting us so deeply, usually it means that we are affected by it, that we have some kind of emotional attachment to it. And that's when we get hurt. I've noticed for myself that sometimes we are connected to people, and I feel like connections can be fleeting. I feel like love is something that is endless and infinite. I don't know if I ever said this, but once I love a person, I can never unlove them. And I've loved many, many people in my life before. And it's not, sometimes we get the opportunity to love a person because they were in our life for a certain time, or we got to see certain aspects of certain people or certain places or situations. But it doesn't mean that they will always align to us. It doesn't mean that at all time people will be receptive to our love, or we will be compatible in our ways of understanding reality and processing reality. And the way that I see this is that a lot of like toxic relationships, or a lot of people that are just constantly fighting and constantly like frustrated with each other, deep down, I feel like people are just truly trying to love each other and truly trying to be loved and truly trying to be seen as a good person. I feel like we all crave for that recognition. Like, we want people to see how much we care, and we want people to see that we have the best intentions with them. But sometimes so many things get just lost in translation. The lack of good communication, the lack of self-consciousness, self-reflection, the lack of being able to have an idea what your own feelings mean. And this is really why I talk a lot about getting to know our emotions, getting to control our emotions, being able to take distance from other people's behavior, and to put everything in perspective, and to understand that everyone is going through their own journey. Because when we practice this, it allows us to show up better in relationships with more patience, with more grace for other people. We are able to figure out different pieces of the puzzles that often get lost in communication. Usually people love us, but we have this way of pushing our feelings, our emotions, our way of thoughts onto people, seeking for that validation. And sometimes people are just not receptive of our way of trying to communicate our love. And this is where so much just crazy things happen. We start to feel like people are not understanding of us. We start to feel like we're not being seen. We start to feel like people do not care about our feelings. We start to feel like we constantly have to put ourselves aside for another person to feel loved by us. Because that is also something that I really don't like in relationships, and that not that I don't like, but that I would not tell anyone to do. And that is put your own self, put your own needs, and put your own feelings aside to make another person feel good. A lot of the times when we have conflict resolution, it can be because we're very empathic and we're able to put ourselves in the other person's shoes. And this is what I used to do a lot of the times. I was able to always understand the other person. I was able to always see from their perspective. So whenever I would say something that would bother me and someone would, for example, tell me what their issues were, I would immediately internalize their reality. I would immediately be able to tap into their feelings and completely erase my own experience and my own reality to kind of admit to theirs, to make them feel good, to make them feel validated, to make them feel seen, so that they would feel loved by me. I guess that my way of showing love and showing care and showing empathy was almost my way of trying to show people that I love them. But this has been very harmful to me, and this is something that I had to learn to not do anymore, because every time I was pushing my own reality away, after a while it came just back up as resentment. And this is how you get stuck in this cycle, in this loop of constantly having the same discussions over and over again. And actually you're both trying to convey your own reality and to explain what your hurt is, but you just never meet eye to eye, and you just do not understand. Sometimes we just do not speak the same language as people. We just do not speak the same language as people. And for me, I had to learn to accept that I had my feelings. And sometimes I thought maybe I had to learn to communicate my feelings better. But not everyone will always be aligned with you in a way that they will be receptive to understand how you experience your reality, how you experience your feelings, how you perceive whatever their behavior is. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of empathy, it takes a lot of care, and it takes a lot of compromise to be able to have a healthy, balanced relationship with a person where you are able to recognize your own emotions, recognize your own experiences, feel confident in what you know you need, and not try to back away from whatever you know you feel and you need from a relationship or from a person, but also try to recognize that another person also has their own experiences and their own feelings and their own needs. I feel like a lot of the time we just completely get lost in translation. And because we do not understand each other, we tend to demonize each other. We tend to see each other as bad people. And I think that is one of the most painful things we go through. And I feel like that is what makes our generation and our society just so prone to a lot of people saying all women or all men are terrible, is because we just get demonized by the people that we truly want to love the most. And we feel so unseen in the places where we want to be the most vulnerable. And that is a really painful thing to go through. But can you and are you able to let go of that reality? Understand that, yes, maybe this person will not understand you. Yes, maybe this person is just not in a place emotionally, mentally, spiritually to go beyond their own experiences and to see yours. Maybe they are on a path right now where they have to choose themselves because they never have before. Can you also accept that some people are just meant to be in your life up to a certain point, and that you have been a reflection and that you ignited some kind of change in this person? But if you truly love a person, can you let them go with love? And can you just accept that maybe this is what it had to be, and maybe this is where your roads end, because you are being called to go higher and you are being called to do things that God has wanted for you, or to experience fun and joy. Sometimes we are the ones taking away the fun and the joy out of our own experiences, but because we feel like we have to stay with certain people, we have to prove ourselves, our good intention and our love to people, because we think that that's going to bring us the good karma. But sometimes love is letting go, and walking away from people and choosing for yourself does not mean that you no longer love a person, does not mean that you no longer care. But sometimes we have to accept. And this is really something that I'm very grateful that I learned, because it is combined with a lot of forgiveness. It is always allowing me to come back to love, and just to know that everything is outside of my control. However people choose to act, however people feel, and however people will perceive my behavior is not in my control. So it's not for me to worry about. But I will always worry about what I need, what I want, and how I feel. And if we give ourselves the space to choose better for ourselves, but also let go in love, and just know that we are walking away because it is what's good for us, and not necessarily because they are a bad person or they don't deserve our love, but just because they are not what we need right now, and they are not providing us that security, that joy, that love, that reassurance or that approval that we are constantly seeking in life, whether we want it or not. But I think that it's always more beneficial and in our best interest to give that to ourselves first, and allow the people to align with you that do that for you effortlessly, and where you don't constantly have to prove your love, have to prove that you are a good person. Know it in your heart and move accordingly. I know a lot of the times when we walk away from people, it's going to be a very ego-induced experience, especially when we process emotions of frustration or of feeling neglected, of feeling validated. A lot of the times we can make that switch where we realize yo, do you even know who I am? Like, do you know who you're talking to? Do you know who you're disrespecting? Like, at some point when we walk away, we can get in this mind space where we have to validate ourselves, and that requires an ego boost once in a while, which is very healthy, which is not a bad thing. Sometimes we have to remind ourselves like, yo, bitch, fuck a pronouns. I'm that bitch and that nigga. Like, what the fuck? But we're going to stay trapped in bitterness, and we're actually not going to move forward in the best, most highest aligned timeline for ourselves if we hold on to trying to also prove to the other person that they're missing out or that they're not good enough. Sometimes we can walk away from people in the hopes that they still come back, in the hopes that they finally see what they're missing, or that they realize that they missed out, or sometimes we all kind of toxic like that. We all have that in us. It's our psychology, it's our nature, it's very healthy, but we have the choice, and we can put in the work to also learn to always come back to love, and at the end of the day validate ourselves, but also wish other people well and send them so much grace, and understand that every person is on their own journey, and we all have our traumas, we all have our hurts, and we'll never be fully able to understand why a person moves the way they do. But if we are not meant to be with a certain person, or if some people in our lives are not supposed to come with us on a certain path or trajectory, that is just not what it is supposed to be. And that means that they also have another mission and another place where they are awaited, where their love would transform them, and where they are able to be transformed into a better version of themselves. I always feel like we're all on a path of healing, but it's going to look different for everyone, and not everyone can join us all along the way. Let go with love, and always remember that you are loved, and loving shows up in different forms. It's not because we don't talk every single day, or it's not because, I really feel like I love so many people, but once you know a person very much, and you just have to do what's right for you and validate yourself and be the person for yourself, that sometimes we put so many expectations on other people to fulfill them, but we're all just trying to do our best every single day, and we're all hurting from so many things and healing from something and feeling a lack of love in some areas of our lives. So it's very hard, and it's also kind of unfair to expect from the people around us or our relationships to fulfill all our needs. I think that's also our own job to do. And you always have a God to rely on at the end of the day too. I want to put the emphasis to end this video that this is also just a mindset that you can apply, but it is a very effective one to me. Brings me a lot of peace, and I always love to come back to love, because for me that's just a highest frequency. It's where magic happens, and you know that you're just always safe wherever that is. Thank you so much for watching this video. I truly hope this helped you in any kind of way. I've seen this pattern now. This is really a time of choosing the self, putting yourself first, no longer expecting other people to do right by you. Do right by yourself first, and trust that the people that are meant to be in your life and that align with this highest version of you will naturally flow into your life, and you guys can be great together. Thank you so much for watching. I truly hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to share with someone if you think they might need this, and I truly hope to see you in the next video. It was your girl Lean. See you next time. Bye.